government taking a 35.8% holding in Vodafone Idea has surprised many. At a time when it looked poised to dilute its stakes in many public sector companies, the move failed to excite the street too, as the cash-strapped company's shares dropped 21% yesterday. Experts also pointed out that ailing government-owned telecom giants MTNL and BSNL are also crying for attention. They are yet to roll out 4G services. But the move may well give Vodafone Idea a lease of life. The third largest telecom carrier's fundraising plans are significantly delayed, and Vodafone Group has made it clear it will not make any fresh equity infusion into its Indian unit. Against this backdrop, the Government of India is set to become the single largest shareholder in struggling Vodafone Idea, after the telco opted to convert interest worth Rs 16,000 crore on deferred spectrum liabilities and adjusted gross revenue dues into equity. It had previously accepted a 4-year moratorium on spectrum and AGR dues offered by the government's telecom reforms package announced last September. While Airtel had chosen to pay the interest arising out of such deferment, Vodafone Idea is taking advantage of the relief package to convert them into equity. This will result in a massive dilution to existing shareholders. The government will hold some 35.8% stake in India's third biggest carrier. The Vodafone Group will own around 28.5% and Aditya Birla Group about 17.8%. While this may provide comfort to financial creditors, at the same time, it places an undue expectation on the government for any future fund infusions, as it has consciously chosen to be part of the company's turnaround. As of September end, Vodafone Idea had a gross debt of 1.94 trillion rupees, 90% of which it owes to the government. The company's decision crucially prevents a duopoly in the telecom market, which was ostensibly the intent of the telecom reforms package. Business Standard's Surajit Dasgupta tells us what this means for the industry.
Yeah, basically one thing is now very clear that Vodafone is here to stay. We'll have 3 players. And therefore, if Vodafone can control its loss of subscribers, in a year they lost around about 25 million. And if they can successfully move people from 3G to 4G, then ambition of companies like Reliance Jio, which were looking at hitting 500 million numbers and dominating the market, that will be very difficult now. Also, the reason why a lot of companies earlier were against doing a tariff hike was primarily this. While they said something and publicly, but they were not going in for a tariff hike because they wanted to grab as many customers as possible from Vodafone.
While this move has helped the company extinguish some dues, the government holding has evidently unsettled investors. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had declared last February that government has no business to be in business. Vodafone Idea should not be allowed to remain a quasi-public sector company for long. While the government may become the largest shareholder, it may not get involved in running of the company. JST Investments Aditya Kondawar explained the implication of the development on the company and the government.
I believe it's like kicking the can down the road. Let's be very upfront here. The 16,000 crore dues that have been converted into 35.8% equity shareholding of Vodafone Idea by government is just the interest on the dues. So the thing is, see, we all know that telecom sector is the cash guzzling one. Now the thing is, government coming in, the thing is, it's all shooting in the dark as of now. The government has maybe diverted a crisis, and Vodafone Idea does survive for a couple of more years, that's for sure. But the thing is, telecom is a cutthroat business. It's a capital intensive business. They have to spend on spectrum. They have to spend on CapExes. They have to, spend on the customer service. They have to stay relevant to the consumers. And we all know that, Vodafone Idea has been having a lot of operational problems as well. So I believe that despite the government coming in and becoming the single largest shareholder, the task for Vodafone Idea remains an uphill one. So I don't see it as a really game changer event as such for Vodafone Idea operationally and financially. So it goes on to be seen how if and when the government infuses more capital, it becomes a political issue as well. So I feel that definitely the government should have an exit strategy in mind as well. If they are able to turn around the company and they are able to generate a good return on their investment. So why not? I mean, of course, it can be a plan of the divestment targets as well, because not in the midterm or the long-term future, but a very long-term future. They can think about it. Why not? Yeah.
In an earlier interaction with Business Standard, Vodafone Idea's CEO Ravinder Thakur had said that it would be incorrect to state that the company will turn into a public sector undertaking. He said the government has no interest in acquiring and running telecom companies. The government will also have an option to convert the due amount pertaining to the deferred payments into equity at the end of the 4-year moratorium period. In the absence of any significant external fundraising by the company, such a scenario would mean the government becoming a controlling shareholder. Nevertheless, it should soon come up with an exit strategy for its stake. Its support provides short-term relief and stability, but over the long term, it needs to be ensured that Vodafone Idea does not go the Air India way.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.